everyone, it has been so long since I've done a pregnancy update. I think the last pregnancy update I did was 14 weeks, I think. So now I am 22 weeks. I am going to be 23 weeks in 2 days, which is insane. He is the size of an eggplant, so he is 1 pound and 1 foot long, which is crazy, and he might even be heavier than that at this point because I'll get into it more, but he is a big boy. So my last update, I was 14 weeks and I had barely started getting over morning sickness, which felt like it was just never going to end. It was not a fun time, that's for sure. And it really wasn't until it went away that I realized how different I was feeling as a person. I didn't feel like myself or like a human. I felt like a routine of feeling awful all the time. After 14 weeks, I was pretty much completely back to normal, as in no morning sickness. My appetite slowly grew, and not only grew to how it normally is, but grew stronger than ever. And my relationship with food is better than ever in my life. I've never thought about food so much, and it's the funniest thing because I feel the exact opposite of how I felt in my first trimester. I felt awful first trimester and I just feel wonderful, other than some hormone things and some aches and stuff, but overall I feel amazing, and I'm so grateful to feel healthy and to have a great relationship with food now. It's the best, and I'm at that like sweet spot of pregnancy that you always hear about in the second trimester. Some of the biggest changes that I have experienced in my second trimester are: 1, I stopped going to the gynecologist that I was going to and I had been going to for years, and I switched to a midwife / birth center. And at this midwife center there are about 5 midwives, and each appointment I have a different midwife so that I can get to know each midwife. And when it comes time for my birth, the midwives are on call, so any of those 5 midwives will be there for my birth, which is interesting and wonderful at the same time because it's a really great community and it was such a wonderful choice for me. I love the office, I love the environment, I love how much care and thought and time they put into me and baby and each person that goes there. Really, it's a much better experience than going to my gynecologist. So as of right now, and it is exactly what I want and what I wanted, my birth plan is to give birth at the birth center that I have been going to with one of the midwives that will be on call. So far so good. And obviously completely unmedicated. Yeah, that is what I've always wanted in birth. I've always wanted to have an unmedicated birth, very relaxed birth with a midwife, and I never wanted to give birth in a hospital, but I also, with it being my first birth, don't feel completely comfortable giving birth at home. So I feel like it's a really wonderful balance, and it's a really amazing office, and it's very cozy, and the rooms have everything that I may need. So yeah, that is one of the biggest changes in this second trimester, and it has been amazing so far, and I'm sure it's just going to continue to be that way. I believe I've had 1 or 2 ultrasounds since my last video, and at my most recent ultrasound, which was 2 weeks ago, where to begin? Originally, when I went in on that day, I thought that I was 18 weeks and 5 days, but baby was measuring to 19 weeks and 6 days, so a week and 1 day older than expected. However, as strange as that might sound, and it could be that he's just a big baby, but it makes perfect sense actually, because when I first found out that I was pregnant, I based his due date off of my period and conception date, because I had tracked everything with the Flow app previously before being pregnant. But then when I went in for my first ultrasound, I was told that I was a week less along than I thought that I was. So I'm not sure if baby was just measuring small or what that was all about, but now he is measuring to the exact date that I predicted when I first found out that I was pregnant. And for me, that just feels like the most accurate date, and it feels right, and it is what he is measuring to, it is what my belly is measuring to. Otherwise, he and my belly would just be measuring a little bit bigger than normal, but he is measuring perfectly along with the date that I knew or believed that I was in the beginning. So who knows, he will either be born the 20th, which is what I think, or more towards the 28th. Regardless, he'll be born somewhere in the late month of November, so we'll see. I've heard from a lot of moms that typically the date that they predicted from their period and ovulation aligns more with their due dates than with the baby measures at the first ultrasound. So we'll see. Speaking of growth with my belly has truly popped, and I feel bigger and bigger every single day. I am now over halfway through pregnancy, so it's still crazy to think that I'm gonna just continue to grow until he's born, because I feel so big already, even though I know that I'm not big compared to third trimester pregnancy. But for me, in my body, and never having been this shape in my life, like I feel big. And something that has come along with that are some aches, usually in my back, especially because my breasts have grown so much, and they've grown since my last video even. So my back has definitely gone through some aches and pains recently. Mostly it's just been my back. So far I haven't really had too many leg pains or cramping in my legs. And I have had some round ligament pain, but not too bad. I had it more in the first trimester, actually, towards the end, than I have had it in the second trimester. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I almost every single night I've been doing prenatal yoga or prenatal Pilates, which I have been absolutely loving, and I see such a huge difference in the way that my body feels, especially my back, just anything that would be aching. Usually it can be completely fixed with prenatal yoga or Pilates, and I just do whatever feels good. I don't have a certain routine, or I just do whatever feels right, and I use a lot of videos from YouTube actually, which is so nice, and I can't believe how many prenatal workouts and yoga exist on YouTube. It's very handy and I highly suggest it if you are pregnant. Mostly I have aches and pains when I'm trying to sleep at night, especially in my hips, because you know you have to sleep on your sides during pregnancy. But again, that really decreases when I do my yoga or Pilates, and I try to do it every single day now because of how incredible it has made me feel. But there are some days where I'm busy and I don't get to it, or whatever it may be, and those are the days that I really start to feel some aches. And I actually am feeling some today because I completely just forgot, pregnancy brain, forgot to do yoga last night, even though I told myself I was going to. Just spaced it, and today my back is just a little achy. It doesn't hurt. It's not like, well, I mean it does a little bit, but it's not like unbearable. It just aches. It's like my body is just going through so many changes, and of course it's going to feel it. My skin is still pretty dry compared to normal because of pregnancy. However, I have found a good balance to where it really is not bad at all, and it's pretty normal at this point, but it's just taken some time to find a new routine, and that's really all that it took. I feel like a big part of why I did not do as many updates with pregnancy is because it has been mostly the same during my second trimester, other than my belly growing every single day. And oh, I do know one thing. I started to feel him kicking, I think it was like 13 weeks, but it was just like little waves is what it felt like. And now, starting I think at like, I don't know, 20 weeks, his kicks were so strong that you can see my belly move now when he kicks, and my husband has been able to feel him twice, which is wonderful. Actually, I think he's felt him more than twice. But yeah, he's still stubborn with allowing people to feel him move. I think it just kind of scares him when someone else's hand touches my belly, even my husband's. But I feel him and see him kicking all day, every day. He has certain hours that he does it, in particular in certain foods that he moves with most, like citrus and spicy foods or cold drinks. Yeah, I haven't had any super interesting cravings. Every so often I will crave something random, but it won't stick. I won't continue to have that craving for weeks on end or anything. It's just usually that one time. The one thing that is to be expected with pregnancy is wacky hormones, and I definitely will say I don't think it's nearly as bad for me as some pregnant women that I have met or known, but it's there. There are moments where I am just in a sassy, not great mood, and the smallest things will bother me, and I will have no reason for it, and it just goes away, and I'm perfectly fine again. Almost like I'm on my period, but all the time. And I really wouldn't say I'm too emotional during this pregnancy. I'm an emotional person in general, but I'm really not that emotional during this pregnancy. I haven't been. If anything, the only things I get emotional about are like, I just get happy. I randomly just think or say how grateful I am for my husband and for my life, and then I get emotional, but can't complain about that. I've met women that became extremely happy during their pregnancy and then went back to normal or had postpartum depression after. That definitely isn't my experience. If anything, my hormones are more off balance while being pregnant than pre-pregnancy, because I'm a very happy, positive person, and I have more anxieties and stress and off moments during pregnancy than non-pregnancy, which is why it reminds me of having a period so much. We move in a little over a month into a home, into a house, and I'm so excited because I can start working on his nursery. That is the thing I look forward to most right now. I'm like going through nesting stages, but I can't really do that when I really just have to start packing things here and getting ready to move. But I know that will be completely fulfilled once I move into our house and I can just create the space that I have been wanting. There's probably a bunch of random things that I forgot to mention, but I talk about a lot of my pregnancy journey on Instagram, so if you want to follow me there to learn more, that would probably have more information about little things throughout my pregnancy than the larger things I discuss here. So yeah, other than that, I hope I will be better about making pregnancy updates once again. That's everything for so far in the second trimester. All great things. And I will show my belly in a moment, but other than that, I hope you enjoyed. And hopefully you can kind of see my bump. It's pretty huge. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes in the clothes that I wear.